What do we got here? We've got a Swift guitar. Now, I tried to look up Swift guitars and could find nothing about them, because anything to do with Swift is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. I only found one guitar, and it was called White Lightning, and that was on Reverb at a very low price, and I don't understand that. It's got a Floyd Rose, two humbuckers, and a single pickup coil in the middle, rosewood neck, and it's got, actually look how far down it goes to the high E. E, that's way up high. E, that's way up high. And it's got a Swift, a locking nut, and it's got a ginger cat who's nosing around, sorry. And it's called a Swift guitar. Now, it's in perfect condition, mint condition, I would say. It still hasn't even taken off the white plastic for the back of the guitar. The neck is very good, very nice indeed, very nice shape and size. It's not a big fat thick thing. And the back is in mint condition too. So I need to find out why these things are not more popular. Maybe the shape is not conducive to big sales, but it looks pretty good to me, and it feels good. It's not too heavy. So let's get into this and have a look and see. Now I have to say, I like this guitar. I like the feel of it. I like the look of it. It's a bit weird with the dinosaur shape and stuff like that there, but I do like the feel of it, and it sits in your hands well. Just checking that down there. So let's go through this and check it. Let's check the electrics first of all, eh? What about that, eh? Excited? Excited? These are the same settings as I had for the Les Paul earlier on the amplifier. Why do I plug the amplifier in live? Because I want to hear the noises as it goes in. No crackling, and it's tight. Right, no strings, of course. Let's just check the volumes. They feel a little bit, they're crackly and stuff like that. Let's just see. Right, so let's switch off the amp, because I'm relatively happy with the electrics, although we'll have a little nosy inside. Don't tell anybody. Right, now we'll look at the neck to see. And there is a very, very slight underglow. Very, very slight, which I like. So I'm not going to touch it. Although I probably will check to make sure the truss rod is touching. Because I don't want a truss rod just sitting doing nothing. Because then the neck gets shaped by this weight of the strings. So that looks... Right, the next test is down the side. Ooh. 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 Pause. Bog roll. Rip to shreds. Oh, rip to shreds is right. It's as rough. The expression is as rough as a badger's arse. Now, I don't know anybody who's been near a badger's arse, but that's what they say. And when you rub toilet paper down it, and if it leaves little things like that there, you'll see that it is pretty rough. So that's going to have to be, the angles are going to have to be taken off that. Right, let's check the fret leveling. That doesn't bode well for fret leveling, but let's see. This is all a bit rocky down here. Tell me who plays down there. Who plays down there? Eh? Do you play down there? I can hardly barely play up there rather than going way up there, but I'm going to level the sides of that neck. There is a little bit, let me just pull down a bit, a little bit of scalloping on the edges there, like somebody has tried to at one stage. Oh, that's very rough. That would cut your hand. That would cut your hand the whole way up. Right, okay. I can't show you that unless I squeeze hard and show you blood. Do you want blood? No, you don't. Yes, that's rough. Tuners? Pegs, should I call them? I call them tuners. I'm going to call them tuners. They feel okay. I can't really say until you start to use them. The tuners on the Les Paul previously were just ones you just did a little touch to and it was right up in tune. So we'll see what the ratio is to turns there. Right, let's have a look at the back. We've had a look at the back. Let's have a look at the electrics, eh? Shall we go have a look, little dive inside just to see, just to have a wee nosy like love, just to have a wee nosy. I don't expect excitement. Don't expect any excitement whatsoever. I still like this guitar. The neck needs a lot of work on it to get it to save you from losing a fingernail or a finger on it, but that can be done. The other thing I did notice about the neck is it's as dry as a bone. Actually, what I might actually do before I do anything else, I'll just moisturize it a bit with some lemon oil. Right, what have we got in there? Let me put my glasses on. I don't think we see anything exciting. Some pots, which I might have to change. What's that? The wood has been damaged there. Like it's been ripped off a bit, maybe when they forced that in. It looks basic and it looks okay, but I got a feeling I'm going to have to change both those because they did feel a bit. And it's got an earth wire and there wasn't any hum off it, so we'll see. Cheap and cheerful, but it works. No point in looking in there. We all know what's in there. We'll see what the neck does whenever I go to set up the actual guitar itself. We'll see whether it needs any shims or anything like that there. But actually, don't panic too much about those because even on a Gibson, you get a Gibson or even a Gretsch coming through the door, you sometimes can get a fret that's been missed. This hasn't been missed as much as been neglected. So I'm going to use a leveler right up the side. Very thin frets. But, you know, I'm going to take the neck off to do this because it'd be easier for me to try to use the fret lever on the side when there's no body guitar body on. So let's just. Okay. Nothing exciting there to see. Some liquid's been spilt on it. We'll clean it up. Let's have a look at the. Come down and have a nosy. Come on down and have a nosy as I take it off. Yeah. It looks pretty. Oh, I see it's ply. There's plywood there. And it's sort of like boxwood, so it's not what you call extremely highly well built. Yeah, and if you look down there, you'll see it's made of plywood. Ply after ply after ply. Plywood. Nothing wrong with that if it plays well. But this is a bit concerning. Look where the holes are. Well, that's not what we're here for. Why would the holes be way over there? Well, we'll figure out. We'll check the neck straightness to the pickups and stuff like that later. That's a weird place to put holes, isn't it? Neck's not bad. It's not what you call the thinnest neck, but I don't think it's the richest kind of wood, so you have to be careful. I think that'll come off. but as you see, it's a join there. What I say that wood is, if you look carefully at the neck, you'll see little bits of lines in it. That might give a clue to somebody. There's little bits of lines in that wood too. Well, what I mean by lines is that you see little sort of dits in it. I don't know what that denotes, but it might tell you what the wood is. Right, okay. Vacuum cleaner. The thing about a ply guitar, to me, is that if it's plywood, it's not going to misshape, it's not going to go bad, it just doesn't sound, it just doesn't, to the ear, when people say it's made of plywood, they'll say, oh, right, okay. Why? If you can get a good playing guitar from it, why would you be embarrassed? Anyway, nobody, my Gretsch, everything, nobody asked me, what wood is that made from? So they only be a bit snobbish about it, you know. Okay, so what we're going to do now, just tidy up, bring the neck on, and the neck is going to be the star of the show now. I'm going to take that off just quickly. The only reason I have a Gretsch is because I've always wanted a Gretsch. And that's probably because I saw Chet Atkins. He was my first guitar hero. What a player. He was a true guitar player. Genius. What am I seeing there? What am I seeing there? Am I seeing anything that I don't like? No. So, okay. Okay, so sometimes I would use these for the sides, right? But I'm not going to, because it rips them to shreds. It rips these things to shreds as you go up and down the side. So I'm going to use my little file and do it that way, because I've a little bit more control over it, and it takes off a little bit more. You can feel it grinding away at that stuff. And I'm not down at the wood yet, so that's a good thing. When you feel it chuttering like that, it's taking off some. You can't see much, but it is taking off some. There are files that you can get made out of wood that have a file at the side, and you put them up and down. I haven't got one, so I use this, which I quite like. I'm not even hitting the wood yet, so it shows you how far those were sticking out. That has to be the worst one I've ever done. Really rough. It's going to have to take a lot. I think I'm going to probably speed through this. I wonder if I'm doing anything, because it doesn't feel like it's removing anything. Right, let's go up a notch and use this. Got some powder on. I can do that at the lower ranges because I'm covering 2 or 3 frets, but I'm not doing it up there at that stage, because then I'll hit the wood. So down here I know I won't be hitting the wood by doing this. Yeah, it's taking off something now, and I'm hitting down to the wood, so Yeah, that just wasn't strong enough. So alright, I'm gonna have to turn this around and do this end. I've got it at an angle, as you probably noticed. These must be steel. They're feeling better now though. They're not right yet because they're sharp when I go to do the rounding. But up here I'm going to have to use this because I don't want to damage the wood. It must be very, very strong steel. Oh, why am I out of the picture? Steel frets, because it's taken a lot to get anything removed from them. And I'm having to press a lot harder than I would normally. My finger is holding it on the neck at an angle. That's pretty good. That's pretty good now. I have a feeling these were put on and not even bothered to be crowned, just as long as they were close to being right as far as the factory is concerned. Yeah, still not right up here. Yeah, that's better. Boring to watch, but better. And I think I'm going to bring out the thing that I love. This fret crowning file. Lovely, lovely, grubbly. Right, so I'm going to have to do that the whole way down the neck. I'm not going to just speed it up. I'm just going to stop and come back to you when I've done it. All right, bye. That's one side done, but I'm going to take a break because look at the dent in my finger from holding that file. My finger's sore too, so I have to take a break and get my finger back to shape. That's pushing it this way. I've raised it up on a platform so I can get round it. A little bit of a platform anyway. And it's tough metal. It's tough, so I have to press fairly hard. Very satisfying to feel it coming off, because you can feel the roughness moving from it, you know. I shouldn't worry too much about there, because it's not going to catch your fingers down there because of the guitars around that. But I'm going to stop because my groovy finger is sore. There you go. That's it. Done. It's nice and smooth down the edges now. Now I'm going to have to fret level it, and then I'll polish it. But I'm going to fret level it first of all with some, was it 600? And that's just cleaning it, and I can feel automatically that the edges are nice and smooth now, the way it should have come out of the factory, and the fret leveling's done. Okay, and then I'm going to lemon oil it in a second or so. Right, now to put this back together. Everything looks fine. What does this say there? Let me get my other glasses just to read you what it says there in big long letters, which I pretty much... Oh, it actually says rhythm in jump, dancing close to you. What? Rhythm in jump, dancing close to you. Very nice. Now, I'm interested to see why the neck is so screwed crookedly like that, and I'm also interested to see why the intonators are so weird. Maybe it's hard to intonate this with it's got two 12 frets, but I'm going to put the neck on, then I'm going to clean up the neck, and then the frets are looking gorgeous, so I'm just going to stick the neck on now. See, the fact that they have threads means that the screw's threaded into that bit, and it shouldn't be. There should just be a hole there the screw fits through, and the screw's threaded into there. But let's just see. Cat hair. Let's just see what the neck looks like now when I put the straight edge down the side of it. Right, okay. You see how far away from the pickups we are there? Yeah, we're not too far off. Oh, let's look at just the action of the neck to see where we are. Yeah, that all looks good. That all looks good. That might come down a bit, but nothing I can complain about. Just trying to figure out why the holes are like that, because they don't look. Yeah, it's a mystery. Probably somebody with more noisy intelligence than I have would say that's because of such and such. Right, what we're going to do now is get this neck a drink, because this neck needs a little drink, even in there. Okay, I'm going to now put the strings on, put that on, screw that on, put the strings on, and then I'll come back to you when the strings are on. I'll check the intonation with you directly. Alright, ciao, bye. You get to investigate mysteries just like me. I thought that you'd be able to put the strings on this way, but it shows string sitting in there. So I'm going to open this up because it does give me a mystery, because most copies of Floyd Rose don't go through the body. And you probably notice I put the lighting up high because I couldn't see before. Trying to keep it really nice, but we're not seeing it. Alright, so there's a block there. There's no strings in it. Strange block, isn't it? Because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's to the side. So how do you get the strings in there? They got to go over there. There's no blocks in there, so you cut the string and put it in the wrong way around, if you know what I mean. You cut the knob off the end or something like that there and put it in there. So how do you get the string in? Because that looks normal. That looks normal. Right, everything's coming off. Do we see how this works? Which means that this has to come off. Is somebody shouting at the screen saying, you do it this way, you dope. You do it this way. Can you not see the way it's been done? Nope. Or I wouldn't be taking this off. I wouldn't be. I'd be just sticking the strings on. But it's an excitement, isn't it? It's exciting. You're excited, aren't you? I can tell you're excited. You can't wait to see what the problem is, or if there is a problem at all, or if I'm being stupid. There's got to be a way to put strings on easier than that. Let's have a look and see what we got in here. Look, that's been chunked away. Not look. Ooh, whatever the hell that is. Well, that's sort of like a soft material that's gone hard over the years, like a foam. Right. Okay. Okay. Now strings. Where were we getting strings from? So is it? Oh, you put your, is that right? Yeah, you put your strings through there. Right. You put your strings through there, and this little grommet, which I lost, tightens on the string. So really what you do is you cut your string and you put it through this way into there, and then you tighten it down, and that holds it. Right, well, that's unique. Now I found something here that I need to work on, because that's just, that won't do. Just leave that in there. That's all gone crummy. It's like honeycomb. My vacuum cleaner came apart and it's all over the place now. But that's doing the job still. Is there anything we can do to stop that being eaten away? To stop it from... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a little bit of a soak of lemon oil, just to give it some moisture back again, and the lemon oil won't evaporate as quickly as... So maybe that'll stop it in future from going any more powdery than it was. You know already I'm not a fan of these. Right. I would like to think that that's where they should be, about there. But they're being pushed right in and down. I'm going to find something to replace it with. I'm going to put a bit of wood in there. I'm going to put a bit of wood in there to bring that up, and then put some foam in below it to give it soft for that. Well, why would you need foam? What would be the purpose of foam? I don't understand that. What's this here? Would this be perfect? Look at that there. I just found that sitting there. Why would you want foam? Tell me, boys and girls, why would I want foam? theoretically I could put the foam back on there and stick it on, and should I do that? Let's vacuum a bit. I'm going to see if I got something. I'm going to put that in, that's for sure. I'm going to use that. I'm going to put that in, because that will bring this up so you can work the tuners. And I'll see if there's something more better than that being stuck back in again. Looks like it had double-sided tape on it. Alright, pause. Okay, I think I now understand why it has foam, and I'm just going to use that little piece of foam back again because I don't have anything like that. So when you got the trem arm on, if you're doing that, it's going to hit, maybe make a noise, so the little bit of foam will soften that. So the trem arm, which I don't have a trem arm for, that little noise, maybe that would stop it. So I'm going to glue that piece of wood down, and then I'm going to glue that the reverse way around to there. But I don't have foam, and I don't have any bits of leather, and I don't have anything like that. Bit of leather probably would have been better. So what I'm going to have to do now is pause, put that in, let that sit to hold it down, and come back to you in about 2 hours time. Have I told you that I don't like those? I think I've told you about a dozen, million, squillion times. And I'm not any fonder of this type either, even with the nice little thing there. But the way you put the strings on here is you cut off the ball end, and then you slide that down into there to a reasonable depth. Well, you have to bend it a little bit to get it past the... Could you have to take out the whole bloody way? Yeah, you do. Yeah, there you go now. And you can come out that end. You don't need it to come out that end. And then you put the grommet back in again. Now can you see the problem here? And this is the same with every one of these bloody things. You're on stage, you've broken a string at the end of a song even, and you have to change the strings or string, and you need an Allen key. What's happening here? You'd think that it would sort of stick hard. Oh, that's it now, right? Okay, so you need an Allen key to get it on, right? You need one Allen key to get it on. Let me take you to the top now. Bet you about this a bit more, right? And when you're putting that on, you need a different size Allen key to put the locking nut on. So you have to have 2 Allen keys with you to change your strings. I don't know, do you ever see any of the real good guitarists using this stuff? Now, theoretically, you don't have to use an Allen key to lock it. You could stick it on as quick as you can, you know, and then lock it down. But that's the way you have to put the strings on, which I think is dick-riculous. It's dick-riculous. Right, okay. Now, that first string that I put on has created a problem for me. Let me show you what the problem is. Can you see the problem? The neck needs to move, and I think we can move it. So the neck needs to come around that way. Let me just set a string against the E string to see what I'm showing you. If I put that against the E string, you'll see that the E string is further over. So that tells me that the screw holes were drilled incorrectly in the neck. So what I'm going to have to do is take the neck off again, fill up those screw holes completely, and move the neck that way. I think there is some room to move it. I wonder if I can get away with a shim. Let me just do this quickly to see if I can get away with a shim, rather than having to redo all the screw holes and stuff like that there. See, again, this is screwing against the body and it shouldn't be. I'm tempted to drill bigger holes in it to let it move about. But then you would have some room to maneuver. You know, you could maneuver the neck, but because there's no room inside there for those screw holes, you can't maneuver it, and I don't think I'm going to get a shim in. Let me just see. No, I'm not going to get a shim in. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take those screws off, make the holes bigger on the guitar, which will give me some room to maneuver, and leave the screws exactly where they are. So let me go and do that, and I'll come back to you when I'm doing something that you want to see. So what I did without pressing the button on the record is I drilled the holes a little bit bigger, because I needed to move the neck a fraction or so one way or t'other, and those screws didn't need to go and screw into the body, they just need to go through the body. So there's now a bit of movement on the screws side to side and up and down, so that means I can position the neck without having to go to a whole lot of trouble. And for some reason I didn't press the button on that. Alright, now you can see that I've put the screws on, but they're loose, and I put the string back on, but if you look carefully, I will be able to move the neck just that little bit, which is enough to bring the string into where I need it to be. Now what I will do is I'll put a little shim in there now, just a tiny shim in there to keep that neck in position, then I'll screw it tight. Well, there you go. I found a little bit of translucent plastic, tiny sliver, and I put it down in there. You can see it. You can see it clearly when you're looking down in, but you can't see it whenever you're looking at the guitar normally. Now that's good and tight in there, so I can tighten these things and I know the neck won't shift. The neck will stay where it is. You can't do much with these up here because of that metal thing. You can't bring that down unless you shave it, but it's actually not bad up there, right? It's not bad, but I can't bring that down any further, can I? Even if I tighten it? No, it's as tight as it'll go. I'm going to have to take the neck off and put a shim there to bring the neck up. Right, doesn't take long to take the neck off. That's the thickness of the shim that I used on the side, but I think that's too thick for what I want there. So I took the lid of one of my carry-out trays and cut a couple of shims that way, and that gives me the right thickness. It just makes it feel a little bit better when you're tightening it. You know you're got a really good tighten on when you've got those toothpicks in. Now they felt tight last time when I tightened them up without the toothpicks, but they didn't feel as tight as I wanted them to be, and this is now as tight as I want it to be. So now the neck is too high, which is fine, because now I can adjust at this end. Didn't have any adjustments at the other at that end before. So right, I'm going to get this tuned back up again and come back to you. Now the action on this is beautiful. Let me just let you see it there. Beautiful action right the whole way up. More happy with that now. And I think it's a lovely little guitar. It's made of everything that's cheap. It's the cheapest of everything that's put into this guitar. But it is a great guitar, and it's wonderful pickups on it. Have a listen to this, just the sustain on this. And it will go on for another few seconds. It's sort of like a Kiss guitar. And the only Kiss song I know is It's a great little guitar. I love it, and it's working very well. Have a listen to this. And then I put up the bass. More fuzz. Now I've switched over to here. You can see it's slightly different because I've got an amplifier over there with some fuzz on it. But this guitar was made for fuzz and overdrive. I'm not going to play my favorite guitar on it. I'm going to chord on it because it would be a waste of time. But let's just see what the tune is. Right? If you saw me now, you'd think I had the face of Kiss, the guitarist. You know the way they wear the makeup? Have a look and see what I'm like. The reason I'm like that is because my sinuses are cold and they get sore when they're cold. So the only way to fix them is to put a tissue beneath my glasses and to keep my sinuses warm. I've tried all sorts of steroids and everything. But anyway, that's not important. This guitar is important, and I'm not going to let it go home. I love it. Bye-bye, little guitar. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Like a rock and roll star.